Okay, let's dive in. Today we're looking at something, well, maybe a bit unexpected for an investment focus. Whiskey.
That's right. And strictly as an asset, not, for drinking, although that's a different kind of return, I suppose.
Huh, true. We've gone through the sources you sent over, all about investing in rare whiskey.
And there's this headline claim that really jumps out. I bet it caught your eye, too.
It definitely did. The idea that rare whiskey, as an investment, has actually beaten the stock market, the S&P 500 specifically, over the last 10 years or so.
Yeah, and beaten it pretty soundly in some cases. One source pointed to certain bottles appreciating more than 500% in less than a decade.
Wow. Okay, that's significant. Not just edging out the market, but really soaring past it sometimes.
Exactly. So it makes you wonder.
It does. So for you listening, we want to unpack why this might be happening. What's actually going on in this liquid gold market?
Okay, so that core finding first. The sources agree. Rare whiskey has, on average, outperformed the S&P 500 recently.
And that 500% number, that's real for specific bottles.
It is, yeah, for the really sought-after ones. But it's important to stress that's not every bottle, right? It shows the potential at the, let's say, the very top end.
Right, the high end. Which brings us to the big question, why whiskey? Like, what makes it so valuable? The sources mention two main things, scarcity and story.
Precisely. I mean, think about it. A rare whiskey is finite. A specific batch, certain casks, certain year, once it's bottled, that specific thing can't be made again.
Unlike stocks, where a company can just issue more shares, you can't just print more in 1973 Macallan.
Exactly. And the scarcity gets amplified because people actually drink it. Every bottle opened makes the remaining sealed ones just a little bit rarer.
Ah, that makes sense. Consumption increases rarity over time.
Yep. And then there's the story part. It's kind of like fine art or, vintage cars. The value isn't just the liquid itself.
It's the history, the brand.
Right. Brand, age, origin, and what the sources call legacy. That legacy could be the distillery's reputation, a famous master distiller, a special release. All that stuff matters.
And are there, like, dominant players? Certain regions or brands that pop up again and again?
Oh, absolutely. Japanese whiskeys get mentioned a lot. Yamazaki, for instance, fetches huge prices.
Mm-hmm.
And in Scotch, you see names like the Macallan, Delmore, consistently high auction results.
We're talking serious money, right? Didn't one source mention bottles going for over $1 million?
Yes, at the very, very peak, that's collector territory. It really shows this is about investing, collecting, not necessarily planning to crack it open anytime soon.
Okay, but hearing $1 million bottles might make you think this is, completely out of reach unless you're incredibly wealthy. But the sources mentioned accessibility, too.
Yeah, that's a key point. You don't have to be a millionaire. There are platforms now offering fractional ownership.
Fractional ownership, like buying shares.
Kind of, yeah. You can buy a share of a really expensive cask while it's still maturing, or even a share in a super high-end bottle. You invest alongside others.
So you own a piece of it.
Exactly. The whiskey matures, maybe in a bonded warehouse, hopefully appreciates. Then later, it gets bottled, sold, and you get your share of the return. It opens the door for smaller investments.
And it's tangible, isn't it? Unlike stocks or crypto, it's a real thing.
It is a physical asset. It ages.
Yeah.
Hopefully well. But, and this is a big but, it must be stored correctly. Climate control, security, all that, that's crucial.
Okay, brings us to the risks. No investment is guaranteed.
Yeah.
What did the sources say you absolutely need to watch out for?
Right. Crucial point. The risks are real. Not every bottle goes up in value. That's maybe the biggest one. Then there's the issue of fakes, counterfeits are a problem.
Fakes. Wow.
Yeah. Provenance is key. Plus, you've got costs for proper storage, insurance, and market trends shift, What's hot today might not be tomorrow.
So it's not passive at all. You need to do your homework.
Definitely not set and forget. You need to understand the market, verify what you're buying. It takes work.
Still, you can see the appeal. It feels kind of old school, tangible, an asset with real character, a story.
It does offer something different, yeah. A unique kind of diversification, perhaps.
So maybe for you listening, the question is, what is it about this combination? The tangible history, the unique story in each bottle, plus that potential, albeit risky, financial upside. What part of that whole picture stands out most to you about this world?
It really does show how value crops up in, well, unexpected corners, far beyond just Wall Street.
And exploring these kinds of unexpected areas like rare whiskey, that's what these deep dives are all about, really.
Yeah, it shows how history, craft, market dynamics, they all intersect in some pretty fascinating ways. Something to think about maybe next time you see
Yeah.
an interesting bottle.